Flounder takes to the sky here in a pretty crazy up-topping regional breakdown. I think 30% of you that have not smashed the ever-living crap out of that subscribe button. Smash it so you guys don't miss out. More honest content. Your breakdown here out of Rhode Island. 2 Flounderies decks. And top cut. Yeah, we are... Can we really say that this metagame has been, started to be solved when you see in the very early stages here 2 Flounder players being some of the most represented decks out here? Because I think that that's kind of a good sign. Obviously, a lot of people don't really know how to play around it. You figure that people would know how to play around M-Pen, but they just don't. I don't physically understand what it is about that deck, but it just throws Yu-Gi-Oh! Players for a loop. We also had 2 Sprite decks in Top Cut as well. So your standard, like, what you expected to be some of the more top-end decks in the format, actually still seeing something like, Sprite competing, I think is good. And, of course, we had 2 Despia as well. Okay, wow. Wow, standard, very easy meta, and then boom, whatever you have going on here. I think that that's a pretty good spread for things. Now, the one-ups here, Tier Elements did creep into Top Cut. We saw Tier actually kind of doing a lot out of the weekend here, especially when you were opening up the door to some of the more diverse option trees out here and the meta. I'm actually very happy to see that. And then we had Vanquish Soul grinding across everything else that you saw in this meta here, putting it into a first place finish, which I quite honestly think is very, very nice. Especially like in our more rogue state like Rhode Island out here, where obviously you see the results here. You see all of the diversity, all of the differences that were being shown across the metagame. I do like what we're seeing here. All right, so what were some of the top deck lists out of this event? Winning the event here was, oh boy, it's Vanquish Soul. Okay, so we have TC Boo Control at its finest. If you're not playing TC Boo, I feel like you're playing this deck wrong. Of course, we do see the one Doggeron in here, and the tech choice it's really put this deck on the map, in my personal opinion, is the Rise Heart here. Just the ability for you to go ahead and toggle that through the Fenrir to laugh at your opponent it's so hilarious. So you have your triple Ash Blossom and Joy Spring. You have the triple Dimension of the Shifter. 1 copy of Doggeron. You can play Kumamungus if you really want. It's going to come down to like your build and how you feel that you're going to need to include, different parts. We have the triple Fenrir here. Your 1 Rise Heart. Your 2 Karikata with your triple copies of Space Rock. You have the 1 Kaiser Varius with your triple Dr. Madlove. 2 Borgers with the 1 Pantera, 1 Pluton HG, and triple copies of Razin. Then we have triple Pot of Prosperity. Do not underestimate the filtering options for this. You have the 1 Rhoda with your triple Small World. Small World in this deck actually is pretty insane. The fact that you can toggle for literally anything that you need to in the entire deck, it definitely has opened up the door for some more uniqueness. We have the triple Stake Your Soul, 1 copy of the in-house Monster Reborn. We have 1 copy of Dust Devil, and then, of course, triple copies of There Can Only Be One. Then, of course, we have triple copies of Raka the Vanquisher, 1 Unicorn, 1 Phoenix, 1 Cerberus, 1 Asa. You also have 1 Access Machine, 1 Time Thief Redoer. You also have the 1 Terribly Tired Little Teddy Bear, 1 Titanic Moth, 1 Arise Heart, 1 Exton, 1 Zeus, and 1 Abyss Dweller. And then, of course, we have 1 Drewsworm with triple Magna Hut. We have 1 Pinkertops, triple Ghost Bill, your triple copies of Econ, 1 Feather Duster, and triple copies of the talents here, wrapping up, well, your first place list. Next up here is Flounderies. Okay, so we have some going second shenanigans going on here. And then, of course, we are playing all 8 pots to make sure that, you don't really care too much about your extra deck. Like, if you played Punishment, you would care a little bit more about some of the things in here, but you really don't. And then I see that we have Lose 1 Turn Down here. Ah, man, this is hilarious. It's been so long since we've seen this actually be a relevant card, but the fact that Flounder gets away with actually playing this is, it's kind of cute, actually. So we have triple copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. We have the triple copies of Dimension Shifter, triple copies of Eagle. You got 2 copies of M-Pen, because this is still literally the best card this deck has going for it. We have triple copies of Rabina. We have one Stree, one Toucan Sam with your one Apex Avian. We have one copy of Mega Ryza, triple copies of Book of Moon. You have your triple copies of Flunderies in the Advent of Adventure, your triple copies of Magnificent Map, triple copies of Filtering. We also have 2 copies of Draw Power, and triple copies of Pot of Prosperity. Then you have one Terraforming, your triple copies of Evenly Matched, and one Dreaming Town. Very interesting to see some other builds this format. We're trying to play some other versions of this. We have 2 copies of Underworld Goddess, 1 copy of Shurag. We have 1 Unicorn with 2 Phoenix. We also have 1 Meteorologic Aggregator, your 1 Assemble Nightingale, your 1 Downer, and your 1 Zeus. We also have the 1 Wind Pegasus, 1 Omega, and triple copies of Ints. And then, of course, we have triple Cosmic Cyclone, triple copies of Hadoken, 1 copy of Unexplored Winds, your 1 Feather Duster, 1 Lightning Storm, triple Raigeki, and triple copies of Lose 1 Turn here. Honestly, wrapping up some of the slightly more innovative things out here. Flounder definitely deserves, like, the W's that it's getting here. Next up here we have Sprite Evil Twin. You know, I've said this, and I'll say it again. If you are not prepared for this card, you deserve to lose the game. We know that this is a tech choice in the format. We know that players are playing this. To not be prepared for it at this point in time is just going to lose your games. I mean, obviously, you have things in the format right now that do exist. I mean, Enemy Controller does allow you to tribute this. We've seen Econ have a massive rise in popularity as of late. So that's a lot of to digest, but that's where we are right now. So we have triple copies of Ash Blossom and Joy Spring, triple copies of Droll and Lockbird. We have triple Effect Veiler. We also have the 1 Nightmare Corrupt Rivley. Gotta love this card. We also have triple copies of the Kishi Sakil with 1 Frost, triple copies of Lilla. We're not doing the extra Lilla or anything like that. I think what you have going for you here is fine. We also have triple Sprite Blue, 1 Carrot, triple copies of Sprite Jet. We also have 2 copies of Sprite Red, 2 copies of Econ, triple copies of the Sunny Snitch, 1 Gamma Burst, 1 Smashers, 2 copies of Starter, 2 copies of Talents, and of course, I mean, you have to have some sort of hand traps, right? Like, Imperm, rounding out everything that we got going on for you here. We also have 1 News Reporter, 1 copy of Nightmare Griffin, 1 Cerberus. Actually, very cool to see that Cerberus is seeing more play now, too. We have 1 IP, 1 Troubled Sunny with 2 copies of Lilla, 2 copies of the Kishi Sakil. We have 1 copy of Beat Cop, 1 copy of the Ninja Shadow Mosquito, 2 copies of the Gigantic Sprite, 1 Downard, and then 1 Zeus. Then we have 1 Drosworm, 2 Magna Hut, 1 Pankratops, triple Ghost Bell, 2 Cosmic Cyclone, 1 Feather Duster, 2 Lightning Storm, and triple copies of Anti-Spell Fragrance here. Wrapping up, well, more of your standard metagame stuff here. And the last as we have for you here is branded with the DDD Kaiser King Requiem. The only thing you care about is you just hand this over to your opponent off of, where's the Albion? Ah, there's the Albion. It's also a dark monster for all intents and purposes here. So, like, that's it. It's just a walking, talking, super cute floodgate that actually has pretty big attack points. I mean, 2800 is pretty impressive, but it does have the same jamming effects that all the rest have. The only real thing you care about is your attribute here at the end of the day. So we have 1 copy of Ad Lidium, 1 Albion with your triple copies of a Looper. You get the 2 Ashes, 2 Blazing Cartesia, 1 Sarnier with 1 Requiem, the 1 Tragedy with triple Fallen of Albaz, 2 Ghost Bell, 1 Quem with 1 Lubellion. We have 1 McCurry with 1 Dark Magician, triple Branded Fusion, 1 Branded in Red, 1 Branded Lost, triple Branded Opening, 1 Call by the Grave, triple Crossout Designator, so you're still seeing the same defensive options across the board that we've been seeing for all the other builds. 1 Foolish Braille, a triple Fusion Destiny. Okay, I see we were trying to get Saucy in here for some of the little innovations here. We have triple Super Poly here. Then we have 1 Retribution and 2 Infinite Impermanence here. Down here in the extra deck, we actually have patrons. Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.